Are you after a fast, flexible 5-axis sliding head machine before Christmas? Then make sure you keep watching. Yes, you absolutely guessed it. We are here at Tornos and we're talking about the Swiss DT 26 machine, and Paul is going to give us the lowdown.
So you're correct in what you said. This is a 5-axis movement machine. It's a production machine, a very capable machine. It could be classed as kind of an entry-level sliding head lathe, one of which, whether you've purchased a sliding head lathe in the past or this is your first interest in one, this is a good possibility for you.
And there's quite a few different sliding head companies in the industry. So Paul, what makes this one so good?
Well, talking to David Dunn earlier, there are a few things that he highlighted to me, and you say to him, okay, well, give me 3 or 4 points as to what makes this machine stand out that we should mention. The first of which comes down to the spindles.
Yeah.
The speed of these spindles, 10,000 RPM on both the front and the back spindle, they're totally equal. And you've also got 10 kilowatts of power on each of those.
Each spindle. Why is that good?
Well, it's good because obviously the faster the spindle, the quicker you can turn components. The more power you've got in a spindle as well means that you can potentially take deeper cuts. Now, the great thing about these spindles as well is it's not just the fact they're 10,000 RPM, but it's how quick they can get to that speed, less than a second. Now, we all talk about rapid feed rates on machines, but acceleration is often undervalued. And you can imagine with a machine like this, if you're trying to move from point to point very quickly, it's more about that sort of movement than actually
being smart
machining.
Smart machining. Follow me, come round here, because this is quite unique on this machine as well, because you've got another window over here. My assumption is automation,
Lighting, yeah, automation. There's a big part, a big drive these days to automate these machines, so that can be taken out of the machine, and you can automate it. You could put a robot, you could take parts out.
I was going to say, you put a casting on because you're not always putting.
Yeah, if you're not feeding through bars and you're doing irregular shapes and you still have to do lots of operations, then this machine can be utilised for that. But you could feed it using a robot. Some of the other areas that David spoke about is the tooling. Yeah. Now you can get 22 tools. There's 22 tools on this machine, but there's 8 driven, and that basically means you've got 4 on the front spindle and 4 on the back, but they're interchangeable. So some sliding head manufacturers you'll need different tools on the back working than you will on the front working. So with this being interchangeable, there's potentially a cost saving there on that. And if you look at the tools at the top here as well, one of the things with this being a 5-axis machine, it isn't going to be capable of doing, very, very complicated parts with off-centered or angled holes. And here you can see that this is an option to purchase tools like this in order to make the machine more sophisticated without buying that hardware on the machine from day one. And these are some of the parts typically that you would manufacture on a machine like the DT26, because the machines now come with options like, thread whirling.
This one here?
Yeah, and I mean, thread whirling in days gone by, as I'm sure you'll have seen or known, basically they used to have sort of 3 inserts on the thread whirls. Now they go up to 9 or 11, which means you get a much better finish of part. And then there's a long part at the top here.
Oh yes, this one here.
Yeah. So that again is demonstrating the length of the sort of parts that you could actually do on this machine. And if you're thinking, well, how am I going to eject that? Well, actually that would come out through the subspindle, and that's why this door here, you can be taken away, and you can,
don't need the parts
eject
catcher.
Parts. Exactly.
Right, quick. Right, inside here we don't get to see this very much, do we? Inside the machine.
Guide bush, non-guide bush. This is where you can change it less than 20 minutes on these machines. So that's very, very fast as well to be able to change. What do engineers want when we go around factories these days? They want flexibility. They want to be able to go from one style of component, one batch quantity to another, and that's what having and that's what going from guide bush to non-guide bush can give you: longer parts, shorter parts, offering total flexibility.
Control system looks fairly easy.
FANUC 31i, very powerful, fast processing.
User-friendly.
In order to keep up with the things that we've spoken about, the acceleration of the machine, the speed of the machine, this machine also comes with TISYS software, which makes it easier for you to program, helps you with monitoring functions on your tooling and your machining processes to get the best out of the machine.
And last but by no means least is the bar feed, and this is their own bar feed, isn't it?
It is. So the Robo Bar, this is a Tornos bar feed. You could look at this as one full cell. This is essentially a cell where you've got the bar feed, you've got the machine tool. A couple of other points that I haven't mentioned as yet, which I need to,
There's loads.
is the fact that you can use soluble, water-based soluble
Yep.
coolants on this, as well as neat cutting oils. Now, you go in some companies and they'll never want to touch coolants on a machine like this, but some do. Some need it for the types of material
Types
that
of
they're
work.
cutting. And therefore, with a machine like this, you can go from one to the other. You've got that choice. It's also got high-pressure coolant, 20-bar high-pressure coolant. Can help you with chip breakage, can help you with machining those more difficult materials quicker as well. So
Yeah.
overall, plenty of light, easy to access, guide bush, non-guide bush, fast, powerful, lots of tools, and very competitively priced. And
All available before Christmas. I mean, who needs a sales guy?
contact Tornos here in Colville in Leicestershire.